It's Stay, Stay, Stay! What's up, dinguses? My name is Jerry Bees. As a straight white male, I am embarking on the last conquest, the last frontier that, well, straight white males can take. And that is listening to every Taylor Swift album in order, with some exceptions, right? There's a Taylor's version. That's what I'm going to listen to. It's like Super Size Me. If you've ever seen that documentary, right? Like every time they ask him if he wants it supersized, he has to say yes. That's basically what it is for me here. But no Taylor's version this time because it's Lover. We're reacting to Lover today. And before we start getting into Lover a little bit, I do want to make some comments about the last Taylor Swift album that I listened to, which was Reputation. There seemed to be a lot of questions on whether or not I truly thought it was my favorite, just because it seems as though Reputation was one of the more controversial albums that Taylor's put out, and that's amongst her fan base. You know, some mixed reactions there. And it's still my favorite, mainly because it was so interesting to listen to. If I'm speaking objectively, which that's not really the point of the series. The point of the series is to, first and foremost, with the rest of my videos, to expose myself to music I wouldn't otherwise be listening to, right? And kind of breaking down those barriers I set for myself. Maybe you're setting those barriers up for yourself, right? And discovering new music. But secondly, it's just to see the evolution of the world's biggest pop star. But if I'm looking at it objectively, Reputation definitely wasn't Taylor's best. She does try a lot of genres and kind of goes against her own grain there. Not to the... Not... How do I want to put this? She did that all to not be like an excellence of execution, right? She wasn't all Bret Hart about it, if you catch my drift. But... And this is a rather large but. I love it when an artist reaches out and tries something different. And I give so much credit, even if it's bad. You know what I mean? Like, for example, it's very different from Taylor Swift, but my favorite record last year was probably Life is But a Dream by Avenged Sevenfold. Arguably their worst album. It made no sense. They made songs that sounded like Daft Punk, and they're a metal band. But they had something to say, and they didn't really care what other people had to say about it, right? And it was arguably the most fun I've had listening to a new album in the longest time. So that was kind of my thing while listening to Reputation. I don't know if we'll be getting into that so much with Lover, because... Even through the debut, through Fearless, Speak Now, Red, especially those, there was a linear progression you can follow. And then with 1989, you know, it was just such a cohesive synth pop sound, right? Where she kind of pulled everything together, and it was a lot more concise and a lot more standardized, I guess. Doesn't mean necessarily it was bad. Then Reputation shook everything up. So going into Lover here, I don't really know what to expect at all, other than I've heard that this is also another controversial album amongst the fan base. I guess without any further ado, we should get into it pretty soon. But before we officially do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and be sure to catch me live sometime. You can find me at one of the links down in the description, and if you can't make one of my live streams, never fear. I do offer a Patreon where for $1 a month you get full access to all of my past live streams, uncut, unedited, and before they're on YouTube. So if that piques your interest, or you just want to support the channel and I don't know, encourage me jabberjawing more than I already do, that is an option for you. So getting into the prologue for this album in particular, it seems as though, you know, she kind of is talking about some pretty nostalgic things. You know, she's reading her diaries from when she was in middle school or in high school, and they're covered in dust, like quite literally. And she was kind of caught by how much she expressed her love for certain things in those diaries. So in a sense, this album is, quote, a love letter to love in general, right? And, she gave some specific examples, like jumping into a pool or something like that. So, and that kind of differs from, because I feel like with 1989 and Reputation, the prologues really had to center around kind of her responses to criticism or her responses to herself and how she kind of defined herself. Whereas I think really this is, at least what it seemed to me, the first hard-nosed, not even hard-nosed, but more or less a concept album, just all the things about love and all that entails. This is Taylor. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seventh album, right? This is your seventh album. Sure. Taylor Swift's seventh album, ladies and gentlemen. 2019's Lover.
Gone, 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 and I couldn't get away from ya. In my feelings more than Drake, so yeah, your name on my lips, tongue-tied, free rent living in my mind. And I thought that it would kill me, but it didn't. And it was so nice. I forgot that you...
Okay, so a minute in, I already got quite a few things to say. I feel like there's that little guitar in the background that's reminding me of like the Jackson 5, right? And then, but it's like Jackson 5, but I'm also, and this is because I know a lot of people have a lot of strong opinions about AJR, but I'm getting some AJR vibes off this. Now, AJR isn't my daily driver kind of music, but I understand why people get it. It's kind of jumpy, piano-y kind of stuff there. She's given some kind of saucy line delivery right here. Yes, Jackson 5, exactly. I'm getting quite a few like Jackson 5 AJR, which is a weird fucking mix. It's a weird fucking mix. But we'll go back a little bit here.
So peaceful and quiet. I forgot that you existed. I forgot that you existed. And I thought that it would kill me, but it didn't. And it was so nice. So peaceful and quiet. Taught me some hard lessons. I just forget what they were. It's all just a blur. I forgot that you existed. And I thought that it would kill me, but it didn't.
We laughed at the same time. We have the same sense of humor, me and her.
It isn't love, it isn't hate, it's just indifference. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that little oh yeah at the end there kind of threw me a little off guard. But what an opener. Yeah, I feel, at least especially in the last few albums, the opener's been like it just gives off opener vibes. This one didn't give me opener vibes, but lyrically, I liked it quite a bit. Just, she's got this pretty good command of, just delving into like general human experience, but, through the lens of relationships, right? I think that this one's pretty damn relatable in that sense. If you've ever found yourself in a relationship before that has ended and, it takes time to get over them, to quit thinking about them, for them to just fuck off out of your head. And it's kind of a great feeling when you're like, oh, I haven't thought about them in a couple days. That's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah, and the Jackson 5 beat is like kind of crazy. I don't know if this one was so glitter pen though, unless just every single Taylor Swift song is glitter pen. But hey, I'm an expert apparently. You guys have penned me the glitter pen expert. So, okay, moving on. Cruel Summer. Okay. So usually when I've heard a song before that's on an album that I'm listening to for the first time, I usually say that it's more of a review than a reaction. I only know the chorus of this song, so this is effectively a reaction.
Devils roll the dice, angels roll their eyes. What doesn't kill me makes me want you more. And it's blue, the shape of your body is blue. The feeling I got in it's blue. It's cruel summer. It's cool in the glow of the vending machine. I'm not dying. We say that we'll just screw it up in these trying times. We're not trying. So get the body is
So I know that this is, I think, by plays on Spotify, and however you judge that metric, that's up to you, right? But by plays on Spotify, this is her quote unquote biggest hit, right? So most streamed song on Spotify, at least. And I can see why, because, I can't tell music by ear, or like, I don't have perfect pitch in that sense, but something about the chord progression in this, it just works for a hit. And I think that chorus it's catchy, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just so accessible just for anybody to hum. So in that sense, I get why so many people would play it, or that it's played so many times, because I think you can just throw this on anywhere. And I think as far as explaining at least the success of this particular song, I think that's what it does. I think a lot of the recent popularity comes from the TikTokification of the Eras tour. This one isn't as widely known as things like Shake It Off, Love Story, You Belong With Me, but it's absolutely a banger. She made a single 4 years after it was released. Yeah, and then, I think we can talk for days about how songs have resurgences on TikTok. Like one of my favorite bands, Pavement, over the summer, their song Harness Your Hopes charted, and Pavement has never fucking charted with a song. But it's because people started using that song on TikToks, and it just kind of blew it up. So yeah, I mean, as far as how a song gets to that point, I think is kind of arbitrary. As far as, how it's used in society, I guess, but I digress. She's kind of eating these verses, like more so. I don't know if I'm paying attention to it more in this song, but I feel like these verses, especially her vocals, are coming through pretty strong. So, this, especially, the last two songs, I feel like it's, I know somebody brought up before, Pink Blue brought it up before, to where, in a way that this is kind of a sequel to Red, in a sense, just because of the perspectives on love, I guess. But sonically speaking, this is way more of a continuation of what was on 1989. And I think she's picking up that vibe and making it more of her own, maybe not as derivative of sounds from the 80s. And that way it works. Because like I said, I think the flow in the verse is pretty cool. I don't know. What's the one line I really liked in this one? I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you. Goes kind of hard. I don't know. Lover, the titular track, ladies and gentlemen.
Till January. This is our place. We make the rules. And there's a dazzling glow. Can we always
One of these days, I will eat no words. I will eat no words, especially my own. But I continue to do so because just after I got done saying that this so far felt, at least Cruel Summer, I still maintain that song definitely feels more like a continuation of 1989. But as the album as a whole, which is what we're reacting to today, maybe that concept of it maybe being, more reminiscent of Red is true, because here we have not even Red, that like the 3 albums that came before that too, more like the first 3 albums, like, oh, more of a stripped down acoustic kind of sound. Like what?
And I'm highly suspicious that everyone who sees you wants you. I've loved you 3 summers now. Hey, lover. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand? With every guitar string scar on my hand, I take this magnetic force. I'll be always be this close forever and ever. And take me out and take me home, lover.
So that one was fantastic. I am not even gonna lie. And I liked that for a lot of reasons. I don't think there's a ton of times where you just, and maybe this was the point, I don't fucking know, and quite frankly, I don't care. This is like, I was gonna make a joke, and it's still probably a joke, but like, how many fucking people like have their first dance at their wedding to this song? Wherever you fall on that shit. But like, this is like the perfect song for that. Not to say that I love those kinds of songs, but I think there's something to be said about hearing a song go, okay, this is a fucking dance at a wedding fucking song. That's exactly what this is. And maybe I gave it the air horn just because it's really refreshing to hear this coming from Taylor again after, at least the past 2 albums especially, of nothing at all that sounded anything like this, which is funny because at the top of the series, I think somewhere in between Speak Now, probably even halfway through Fearless, like between Fearless, Speak Now, and Red, where I'm like, okay, like when are we going to get to like the other shit that I know sounds different? Maybe that's just because I thought, or like I knew that there was other Taylor that just wasn't guitar, like acoustic guitar based kind of stuff. But I mean, if you're like me and you're marathoning this shit, or not really marathoning, but if you're listening to them in order, this one was a breath of fresh air. There's nothing incredible about the lyrics or the music, but it's more so a continuation of things we've seen in the past, and it kind of harkens back to that, instead of maybe some critiques and some criticism that people gave to Reputation, where she's trying too hard to sound different from her other stuff, to where I think this comes across as way more genuine. And I think in that sense, it works quite well. So, all right, moving on.
I would be
the man.
I would be cool.
Back with the synths. Run it back with the synths.
Found someone to commit to. And that would be all. Everyone believes ya. What's that like? I'm so sick of running as fast as I can. Wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man. Even man. They say I hustle.
Okay, so we're right back with the synths again. And I don't know if this is the first time Taylor's kind of called this out, because, and again, this is for lack of a better word here. Just so you know, I am sympathetic to the plights of modern women, believe me. But I think this is the first time that she's gone like explicitly like, it's like, okay, well, here's, probably how I'd be treated differently if I was a dude, right?
They wouldn't shake their heads and question how much of this I deserve. What I was wearing, if I was rude, go running as fast as I can. Wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man. And I'm so sick of them coming at me again. I can. Wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man. You know that I'm so sick of them coming at me again. I'd be the man. I'd be the man.
No, on the real, though, good for her for sticking your nose out there and actually, you know, saying what she thinks about the whole thing. You know, I am not a woman in the entertainment industry. I can only imagine what the fuck that's like. You know, but, you know, she goes over these things, which is insanely true as far as coverage of how, you know, in the media of, you know, sometimes when women are mad, that gets perceived differently than, you know, if a dude is mad. You know, maybe there's more justifications that are given to him rather than a her in that sense, right? Be a bitch, not a baller. Really plugging that word in here. But that word gets thrown around when you're in a position like that. So yeah, so far it's a little bit, I'm liking how much differentiation there is, for lack of a better word here. Especially since, I mean, Lover kind of just threw me completely off guard here. And I don't know. I feel like in other songs, maybe she kind of tiptoed around the idea of, like, you know, just calling out, you know, how men are perceived in general and how sometimes, oh God, it'd be, you know, so much easier. But I won't get into specific examples, but there's tons of dudes who think it'd be way easier to be a woman. And I'm like, debatable. Depends on how you play your cards there. All right. The Archer. Legolas.
Combat, I'm ready for combat. I say I don't want, but who could stay? Dark side, I search for your dark side. But what if my nose just despite my face, and I hate my reflection? Years and years, hold on to you. I've been the archer, I've been the prey. Who could ever leave me, darling? Ready for combat.
That low tone at the end just to kind of send it home. Okay, so if you're watching the YouTube video of this, you probably didn't catch that. I didn't pause a single time during that, nor was there really a natural place for me to pause at all during that. There's a lot to go over here. Somebody said that the Humpty Dumpty line broke me. I definitely wasn't expecting it. But within the song, it kind of works because this is kind of... maybe she's kind of encapsulating her feelings on how she views love in relationships and giving love and receiving love. And I'm getting that from the I've been the archer, I've been the prey. So between giving love and receiving love throughout all the relationships that she's been in. And I think that you can even extend that past like romantic relationships, right? Or, you know, sexual ones at that point. And then, you know, there's this, because I haven't said this in a while, you know, she's got a big heart. So, you know, maybe, you know, if you're one of those people that's got a big heart too, it's sometimes it's hard to kind of like check your emotions at the door sometimes. And, you know, it's like, who could ever leave me? But also, who could stay? So, you know, maybe kind of going through the, you know, all of the past experiences you've had and like, okay, what went wrong or who could stay with me? So maybe there's a little bit of, you know, self-doubt and self-deprecation there a little bit. Room is on fire, invisible smoke. You know, it's like lyrics like that where I think as a whole, I would probably have to come back to that one. I've been seeing that comment here in the chat a little bit to where, you know, this was a grower for some people. I'd say one of the stronger track fives in the sense that it's like one of the more emotional or maybe more personal ones, because we're not getting a ton of like specific detail. And I think that is the point to this one. So, again, not so much of a like, okay, we need a bop, we need a hit. This is one where you got something to say and you're really proud of like the way that you say it. Straight white glitter gel pen male gets the Archer for the very first time. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to know all the critical analyses I wrote in my college English classes didn't go to waste. This one, okay, a little bit more heady. A little bit more heady than I would have given it credit for. I think he knows.
I think mine. He got that boyish look that I like in a man. I am an architect, I'm drawing up the plans. It's like I'm 17, nobody understands. No one understands. He got my heartbeat skipping down 16th Avenue. I mean, wanna see what's under that attitude. Like, I want you, that's my soul. And I ain't gonna tell him, I think he knows. I think he knows.
Okay. So structurally, in the first 55 seconds, you know, and with a lot of pop music, you know, you got to get them in a minute. So that makes sense that we're about to transition to something else here, or maybe like get into the chorus. I don't know, but there's already been like a couple switch ups already, and that like shuffle beat, I just was like not expecting at all. And actually here, this little, you know, I'm an architect, I'm drawing up the plans. She's kind of, and you know, you got that boyish look that I like in a man. She's kind of giving that delivery that she started to kind of give, or that I started to at least notice in Reputation, but keeping it to a couple lines, because it was kind of like that rap delivery where I'm like, okay, well, I'll see where this goes. I'll give you all the credit in the world for trying. Absolutely. Like I'm not going to talk shit on it. But kind of combining that, you know, with the singing too. We'll keep going here.
Man, I am an architect, I'm drawing up the plans. He's so obsessed with me and boy, I understand. Boy, I understand. He got my heartbeat skipping down 16th Avenue. I mean, wanna see what's under that attitude. Like, oh, I ain't gotta tell him, I think he knows. I think he knows.
I paused it. It's already too late. I shouldn't have paused it right there, but I did. No. I just wanted to pause it. Like, this is like really fun so far. I mean, it's fun subject matter, you know, which helps with the fun song. I also, you know, but I'm also somebody who listens to a lot of ska music, and it almost always is very fun sounding. But when you read the lyrics, it's like, dude, are you okay? Do you need to talk to somebody? You know, but not so much here. Not so much here. It's I think she's more the Archer here in this one. What is ska music? Oh, you got to find out your own, like the rest of us did.
Indigo eyes, hand on my thigh, we could follow the sparks, I'll drive. Lyrical smile, indigo eyes, hand on my thigh, we could follow the sparks, I'll drive. So where we gonna go? I whisper in the dark. Where we gonna go? I think he knows. I want you this love. I want you this love. I want you this love. I ain't gonna tell him, I think he knows.
Fun as shit. Fun as shit. I mean, there's really not a ton left to say about that one other than that. Yeah, that like little shuffle beat there is just way too good. And I what a placement coming right after the Archer, which is like, oh my God. Like, she's been reading. I don't know what she's been reading, but she's been reading. You know, something. Reading and thinking. That's what the Archer was. And then this one was like, I don't have time for reading and thinking. I need to get my soul blessed. I hope everybody watching this gets their soul blessed. Stop what you're doing right now and go get your soul blessed. All right. We got Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. He's like a fucking Harry Potter book.
American glory faded before me. Now I'm feeling hopeless. Ripped up my prom dress, running through rose thorns. I saw the scoreboard and ran for my life to see you there. It's been a long time coming, but
So either this is calling back, so, like, is this kind of like a thing where, in the prologue, she's kind of reading her diary, and so this is a scene from her past that she's kind of breaking down, or is this kind of like a fictional kind of scene here? Taylor yearns for high school. There's no way that this is about politics. Need the chat for this one. It's about the 2016 election. Okay, well, we'll keep it going, but the chat says this is about the 2016 election. So let me know if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know your take on this.
Where are the wise men? Darling, I'm scared. No cameras catch my muffled cries. I counted days, I counted miles. Now the storm is coming by. It's you and me, that's my whole world. They whisper in the hallway, she's a bad, bad girl. The whole school prince is so sad. We paint the town blue, loaded most likely to run away with you.
Okay, so if this is about the 2016 election, this might be one of her best written songs, because it's not a song to where it's left to interpretation as far as it being like general. She's not really talking about the quote unquote Taylor, right? Where, hearkening back to, the paternity test for songs, right? Okay, who's this one about? Who's that one about? And it's not so on your, like this is actually like quite smart, because on first listen, I probably wouldn't have gotten that without the chat. And I don't think it's spoiled for me in any degree with that being the case. I want to make that very apparent, because it's actually like making me think about this a little bit more. And I know we're not even done with the song yet, but I think this is one of her stronger written songs, if that's the case, because I think it's the subtlety in it, which I don't know if I've seen so much in other songs, like after like finding out like what they're about, or like what's the backstory behind it. And it's the subtlety here. If that's the case, it's like we paint the town blue, kind of turning that phrase, like we paint the town red on its side, because if this is political, yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
You should know, and I'll never let you go, 'cause I know this is a fight that someday we're gonna win. Just thought you should know, you should know. It's you and me, there's nothing like this. This Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. It's so sad, we paint the town blue. It's you and me, that's my whole world. They whisper in the hallway, she's a bad, bad girl. She's a bad, bad girl.
So, I musically and even vocally, this wasn't a standout song for me, but lyrically, this is going to have to go down as one of my favorite written songs, or at least what I think. And, I don't really keep my streams objective as far, it's all subjective, right? It's all like what I gel with, kind of, that's kind of what this is, right? And for a lot of the time with music reaction content, it's seeing your favorite shit through new eyes for the first time. That is the core of it. But if we're trying to objectify music, right, if we're trying to say like this is good, this is bad, I would say this is one of her best written songs, because the symbolism, it's subdued, it's very subtle, but it's effective, and it's a pretty good metaphor. Boys will be boys then, where are the wise men kind of deal. I do like, painting the town blue, just turning that phrase in on itself. Very good. All right, moving on, folks. Paper Rings.
The moon is high, like your friends were the night that we first met. Went home and tried to stalk you
What
on
the
the
fuck is
internet.
this?
Now I've read all of the books beside your bed.
Like shiny things, but I'd marry you with paper rings. That's right, darling. You're the one I want. And I hate accidents, except when we went from friends to this. That's right, darling. You're the one I want. Paper ring.
It's Stay, Stay, Stay! That's the vibe I'm getting. This is just Stay, 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 but like a little less Target Corey. Yes, yeah. It's Stay, Stay, Stay in the fact that it's like so fun. It's just okay. Let's just keep that acoustic guitar rolling and throw some claps in the background. Fuck it, dude. This was in a Target commercial? Well, fuck. Could have fooled me.
Without all the exes, fights, and flaws, we wouldn't be standing here so tall. So, kiss you once cause I know you had a long night. Kiss you twice cause it's gonna be alright. 3 times cause you waited. You're the one I want. I want to drive away with you. I want your complications too. I want your dreary Mondays. Wrap your arms around me, baby boy.
Okay. So, very fun. It doesn't have as I guess an effective bridge as Stay, Stay, Stay did. But I only said that just because it comes off as so fun and so upbeat as soon as it hits you. And I think that's quite an endearing theme here, right? I like shiny things, but I'd marry you with the paper ring, right? Because it's like, as long as we're together. Doesn't really make any sense to mention this here, but, just harkening back to things I'm familiar with. Anybody knows Watsky, his song Cardboard Castles kind of has to deal with the same thing, where he doesn't need a ton of material things to find life enjoyable or to find love and things like that. So when I see paper rings, that's just what it calls back to me. And I don't know, I think I'm just kind of a fan when those kind of ideas are expressed a little bit. I don't know, especially maybe with somebody as wealthy as Taylor is. It's like
You with paper rings, that's right, you're the one I want. I hate accidents except when we win. You're the one I want. In paper rings, in picture frames, in all my dreams. You're the one I want. You're the one I want.
nice little fade outs. Okay. Yeah, that one was just fun. And like I said, I think I just kind of like that imagery, that theme of, the paper rings. All right, moving on. Cornelia Street.
We were in the backseat, drunk on something stronger than the drinks in. We were a fresh page on the desk, filling in the blanks as we go. As hope it never ends, I never walk Cornelia Street again. That's the kind of heartbreak time could never mend. I never walk Cornelia Street again. And baby, I get mystified by how this city in autumn air, jacket round my shoulders is yours. We bless the rains on Cornelia Street, memorize the creaks in the floor. I hope I never lose you, hope it never ends. I never walk Cornelia Street again, Cornelia Street again. And baby, I get mystified.
Okay, so not a ton to say about this one. The beat's good. I'm jamming with it. I'm gelling with it. This is probably the hottest take I've ever said in one of these streams, in one of these videos. You let me know. But this is the first song since All Too Well that I think sounds like All Too Well. Minus the emotional torment. This is almost like a looking back on it. You know what I mean? This is like All Too Well, just a little less with a little less hurt. And I think that's probably just the beat helping it. Bro cooked and made a flawless meal. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that. But it's giving me All Too Well vibes. It took me until about 30 seconds ago. Wait, this is All Too Well. People hold All Too Well. People, Swifties, right? Hold All Too Well in very high regard. And I think its place on the Taylor's version, especially, the 10-minute version. I don't mean to say that this one's better or that, or, All Too Well is better. Although I think on the album, All Too Well is way better than this one is on this album, but more so just because of the story that had to do with All Too Well on Red. But it's giving me All Too Well vibes. Well, Jerry, it's the same chord progression. Of course, it'll sound the same. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But it's also going back to the the theme of the song, which is, this is kind of heartbreak that time could, never mend it. It's something that hurts and it stays with you, right? Which I think between that and, the chord progression and that, those are the similarities, but I think that's where it ends. I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Barefoot in the kitchen, sacred new beginnings that became my religion. Listen, I hope I never lose you. I never walk on near your street again. Oh, never again. And baby, I get distant light out this city screams your name. And baby,
Okay, I gotta say this. So I think largely it's different than all, because now that I'm thinking about this, it's different from All Too Well because, the heartbreak hasn't happened yet and she's anticipating it. And it's almost like she's in the spot where it's like, okay, this is good, but if this ends, I'm going to feel like the way I did back then. And so it makes sense to kind of use the same chord progression, but make it happier because she is happier. Right? That girl loves C major.
never walk on your street again. I went to a place on Cornelia Street. I see cab.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I've already said everything I needed to say about this song. Death by 1,000 Cuts.
In here, 'cause I can't pretend it's okay when it's not. It's death by 1,000 cuts.
That piano in the background.
I just to kill my time. Will be alright. They say I don't know. And what once was ours is no one's now. I see you everywhere. The only thing we should. 'Cause saying goodbye is death by 1,000 cuts. Flashbacks waking me up. I get drunk, but it's not enough. 'Cause the morning comes and you're not my baby. I look through the windows of this love, even though we boarded them up. Chandelier still flickering here, 'cause I keep my love. Trying to find a part of me that you didn't touch. Gave up on me like I was a bad drug. Now I'm searching for signs in a haunted club. Our songs, our films, united we stand. Our country, guess it was a lawless land. Quiet my fears with the touch of your hand. Drunk, but it's not enough, 'cause you're not my baby. I look through the windows of this love, even though we boarded them up. Chandelier still flickering here, 'cause I can't pretend it's okay when it's not. No, it's not. It's death by 1,000 cuts.
Okay, so a lot of different things going on in this one. Between, there was like that isolated acoustic guitar right there, and the fucking piano in the background is just doing a lot of good things in my ears. So actually, from a production standpoint, this one's actually quite good. There's a lot of symbolism in this one that I think I'm going to have to come back to, but I think something that's kind of telling that I don't know if I've picked up on in other first listens, but you know, I get drunk, but it's not enough. You know, this sense of like coping. I don't know if she's gotten too far into that. And like I said, maybe she has. I just haven't picked up on it. Whereas in this one, I think it's more at the forefront here for me.
But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. No, no. Don't know.
So, you know, I just want to see. Okay, so we're more than halfway through the album so far. I don't know, because when I announced that I was going to be reacting to this, a lot of the comments I got on that post on my community tab, which if you don't already follow or subscribe to me on YouTube, check out my community tab. That's where I announce when and where I'm going to go live, and also I announce it on my Patreon, so you should subscribe to me there as well. But a lot of the comments, it was very conflicted on, you know, this album either being a fan favorite or not. And so this one, I think that there was equal amounts of like, oh, well, not my favorite, or some going like, nah, this one's a skip. Don't listen to this one. I don't know if I'm kind of going back and forth between whether or not I'm having more fun listening to this or more fun listening to Reputation. But honestly, as we keep going through the songs, and I'm just saying Reputation because A, that's the last one I listened to, and B, that's like the one I had probably the most fun listening to. I'm having like more fun listening to this one, and like the songs are better. They just are to me. London Boy.
We can go driving in on my scooter, just around London.
I love my hometown as much as Motown. I love SoCal, and you know I love Springsteen.
Detroit City.
Blue jeans, Tennessee whiskey. Then boy, I enjoy walking Camden, market in the afternoon. He likes my American smile like a child when I eyes me. Darling, I fancy you. Took me back to Highgate.
So, I had said this, I think it was like one of the first, I think it was a song on, was it a song on Red? Maybe a song on Red where I was like, it is like Taylor in the London core, and everybody was like, yeah, no, we'll get to that. So I think it was a song about Harry Styles, and then, you know, obviously 1989 had quite a few songs about, you know, her and Harry's relationship. But yeah, this is the first time I think since that we've gotten like a full, like, yeah, no, this is me. I love London core. And I've never been, you know, across the pond, but, I do relate in the sense that I was raised on quite a bit of British media.
And now I love high tea, stories from uni and the West End. You can find me in the pub, we are watching rugby with your school friends. Show me the English. You know I love a London boy. I enjoy nights in Brixton. Shocking smile like a child when I
Yeah.
Darling, I fancy
It's
you.
very unserious. Somebody says, love this song, but no one can ever make me say I love the English. Are you Irish? Are you Irish? My mom's side is Irish. Represent. But no, this is, I'm not like, you know, I think this might be one of those songs where I get why people maybe not like it, because it is so silly. And it's like, okay, what are like the top 10 things we know about London? And let's just like throw them in a song, you know, just put all the buzzwords in there. So she's obviously either writing this for people who, people who either love the UK and live in the UK, or, you know, all the London core people over here in the States. If that's the case, she met her audience quite well in that. But I guess maybe compared to some of the other songs where I've really liked some of the lyrics, this one just isn't hitting. But it doesn't have to be serious all the time. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. So someone else already said the places in the song Make up. What? Okay. All right. Hold on. Hold up. Toad says, as somebody already mentioned, and I didn't see it, the places in the song make up a heart on the map. That's decent there. You know, if you actually like took the time to analyze that, then yeah, no, I get it. That's a little fun thing you can do there, I think. I don't know. Somebody confirm that.
Stella McCartney on the heat. Just wanna be with you. Wanna be with you. Wanna be with you.
Yeah, so like I said, yeah, I mean, that's a fun one. Very silly and unserious. But you know, she's already kind of portrayed that. If I'm being honest with you, a lot of Reputation was like that too. And you know, I mean, even going back to, you know, so some of the earlier albums too. It's very on the nose, but if that heart thing is true, then I think that's actually quite something. All right, so apparently I'm gonna cry. Soon You'll Get Better, featuring the Chicks.
The buttons of my coat were tangled in my hair, in doctor's office, and I say to you, ooh, soon you'll get better. Ooh, soon you'll get better. Ooh, you'll get better soon. 'Cause you have to. There's not a day that I won't try. And I'll say to you, ooh, soon you'll get better. Ooh, soon you'll get better. Ooh, you'll get. What am I supposed to do if there's no you?
Oh, come on.
This won't go back to normal, if it ever was. It's been years of hoping, and I keep saying it because you'll get better soon. Ooh, soon you'll get better. Ooh, soon you'll get.
Yeah, man, heart goes out to all my homies who've ever had to deal with a loved one in intensive care or, you know, other various life-threatening injuries there. But as far as the song is concerned, you know, the two moments that, you know, really sent it home for me, you know, what am I supposed to do if there's no you? Like, oh. And then that little breath she takes, that little sigh where, you know, she's trying to get through it. Like, oh man. Yeah. And you know, this album's been the first, you know, between 1989 and, Reputation. So we're looking at close to, you know, it's closer to a decade, I'd think. No. So what, this came out in 2019 and then Red came out in 2012, so like 7 years, where this is like, you know, between Speak Now and Red, they were very eclectic albums. And this one, and so is this one, so it's kind of pulling back to those roots to, you know, just the kind of vibe that she'd be laying the album down with, and it's gonna, fuck it, I'm actually... Devotion to accuracy here, folks. I don't think it was on Red. I think it was on... No, yeah, it was on Red. Ronin. Right? So this one really reminds me of Ronin, and I think for obvious reasons. But it rings true that I think she's going back to her roots here a little bit, or at least that like middle career kind of sound. What? And now it gets happy again? With the saxophone? All right. Actually, no. Here's... everybody, here's False God. I've heard this is like the flagship song off the album that I've heard that I need to listen to. False God.
We were crazy to think, crazy we were stupid to jump, ocean separating us. Remember how I fly to you. And I can't talk to you when you're like this. But we might just get away with it. Religion's in your lips. Even if it's a false god, we'd still worship. We might just get away with it. The altar is my hips. Even if it's a false god, we'd still worship this. And you can't talk to me when I'm like this. Daring you to leave me just so I can try and scare you. You're the West Village. You still do it for me, baby. They all warned us about times like this. They say the road gets hard and you get lost when you're led by blood. Is my hips, even if it's a false god, we'd still worship this Allah. We'd still worship this Allah. We'd still worship this Allah.
Okay, so as opposed to, you know, a lot of this album, I think, harkening back to, like, Red a little bit more, even a little bit of Speak Now. False God, I think, keeps some of the vibe going with Reputation a little bit. So, like, really, if we're looking at the evolution of her career, this is kind of everything put together. Because where I thought Reputation, like, one of its strong suits was when she kind of did more of the R&B thing, and that worked really well. That wasn't like hard R&B, but it's like an R&B kind of smooth jazz thing. And I thought it worked quite well. And also in this album, I feel like there's a lot more references to, like, religion and God and faith that she hasn't really gotten into as much or on as deep of a level. Not to say that it's so deep and that it's, you know, it's like world breaking or anything like that. But looking at the evolution of it, I don't know. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you guys? On here, last 5 songs, ladies and gentlemen. We got You Need to Calm Down.
It's 7 a.m. Say it in the street, that's a knockout. But you say it in a tweet, that's a cop-out. And I'm just like, hey, are you okay? And snakes and stones never broke my bones, so you need to calm down. It's not a slip on my gown. You need to calm down. When you could be glad, you could be glad.
If I could imagine not listening to this song, or like listening to this song and not reading the lyrics and not getting that reference, you know, the GLAAD, you know, the organization, you know, the gay rights organization there. Very good wordplay there. Very, very, very good wordplay there.
Hate, 'cause shade never made anybody less gay, so you need to calm down. Step on his gown, you need to calm down. And we see you over there on the internet, comparing all the girls who are killing it. But now we all got crowns, you need to calm down. You need to calm down, you need to calm down. You're being too loud, being too loud gowns. You need to calm down.
Okay, so I think overall, you know, I've gotten kind of used to the production in the last few albums. to where, it's every now and then I hear like something that like I'm really interested in, but otherwise it's just that pop sound that, her and her associates have kind of been able to curate, right? But with that being said, this song in particular, besides like, fight for gay rights and shit, hell yeah, that's based. But her vocals on the uh-ohs, and I know that they're multi-tracked, they sound amazing. And this is another continuation of Reputation where her flow in this song is great. Afterglow.
I blew things out of proportion, now you blew. Put you in jail for something you didn't do. I pinned your hands behind your, and I'm to blame. I need to say, hey, it's all me in my head. I'm the one who burned us down, but it's not. Wanna do this to you? I don't wanna lose this with you. I need to say, hey, it's all me. Just don't go. Maybe in the afterglow.
Okay, so another great reason why I'm doing reactions, but specifically why it all started with Taylor Swift was because, biggest pop star on the planet. Well, I should probably listen to it, right? I should probably expose myself to it a little bit. And also because, I think, you have all these preconceived notions about any artist that you've never listened to. Maybe you've just heard things about them. This really goes for anybody until you actually experience it. And that's one of the biggest things was like, okay, here's how that's what this person did to me. That's what that person did to me. That's what this person did to me. And that's pretty true for a lot of her songs. So it's kind of refreshing in a way. I think somebody said, this is the accountability and responsibility song. And she's touched on this before. But I don't know if we've spent as much time on it, at least from the start of the song. This is like me in the afterglow. Back to December. Yes, exactly. People are self-aware. They know things. It's really funny that it's only an issue if Taylor writes about her relationships. I think, and this is just my take here. It's, you write so many songs or you do so much of one thing and then you become typecast, right? And then, people are asking things, like different things of you. It's like, can we get a different thing? Completely unrelated, but I know a lot of people who hate Jack Black because it's like he plays the same fucking dude in every movie. There's no fucking range. I go see a movie with Jack Black in it. I know exactly what the fuck he's going to do. So why the fuck would I watch that movie? I tend to like Jack Black, and I didn't see the last 3 Kung Fu Pandas, but that's just kind of how it goes sometimes.
I lived like an island, punished you with silence, went off like sirens, just crying. Why'd I have to break what I love so? But it's not what I meant. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I don't wanna do this to you. I don't wanna I need to say, hey, it's all me in my head. I'm the one who burned us down, but it's not what I meant. Sorry that I hurt you. I don't wanna do this to you.
I found on this album so far that I don't know, a lot of her slower ones, I'm staying in them a little bit more. I'm letting the soundscape play me out a little bit there. Yeah, I think this one's got some of the stronger, slower songs, I believe. I love Taylor. I've been a diehard fan since the debut, but she can also be very much the problem sometimes. I don't believe this is her gaslighting herself. I consider myself a good person, but I've known I've hurt my exes as well. Makes her real human. Exactly. Makes her real human. Not everything woe is me. We are all at fault. That I've been hurt. I've hurt other people. I am not ashamed or afraid to say that. And I think everybody in this chat can probably say or should say the exact same thing. Unless like you've just like lived in a box and you're just hanging out. You don't fuck with anybody.
I promise that
Me.
you'll never find another like me. I know that I'm a handful, baby. I know I never think before I jump. And you're the kind of guy the ladies want. And there's a lot of cool chicks out there. I know that I went psycho on the phone. I never leave well enough alone. And trouble's gonna follow where I go. And there's a lot of cool chicks out there. But one of these things is not like the others. Like a rainbow with all of the colors. Baby doll, when it comes to a lover, I promise that you'll never find another like me. You're the only one of you. Baby, that's the fun of you. And I promise that nobody's gonna love you like me.
I know I tend to make it about me. I know you never get just what you see, but I will never bore you, baby.
I'm sorry. Brendan Urie's kind of a turd nugget, but his voice is so goddamn good.
And when we had that fight out in the rain, you ran after me and called my name.
I never wanna see you walk away. Cause there ain't no I-N-T.
But you know there is a me.
And you can't spell awesome without me.
I promise that you'll never find another like me.
Okay. 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 So, this song, at least for me, and, in some of these songs, I think that's kind of the trouble you get into with any long album that you listen to, where, songs kind of bleed in together. Although I think she's done a fairly decent job of making songs stand out. We got that little marching band drum there in the background, which is just like classic, late career Panic at the Disco. But, there's no I in team, but, there is a me. But, there is a me. You can't spell awesome without me. What a line. This song is the twilight of music. It's cringe, but you have to lean in and have some fun with it. I mean, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to go back and like listen to this particular song in my lonesome. It's there if I want it, isn't it? You can't spell lonesome without me. There you go.
I'm the only one of me. Baby, that's the fun of me. You're the only one of you like me. Girl, there ain't no I-N-T.
But you know there is a me.
I'm the only one of me.
I mean, if this was the single on this album, I get it because, it's two big names together. So, I mean, that's just sale there, ladies and gentlemen. It's just sales. That's all that is. But that's a choice. That is a choice. This was the lead single, too. I would not have picked this. And I don't really think that this lends itself very well to how good her songwriting can be. I would have tabled this one. I would have tabled this one. It's nice to have a friend. I can get behind that.
School bell rings, walk me home, sidewalk.
Those fucking steel drums.
Chalk covered in snow, lost my gloves, you give me one. Wanna hang out, yeah, sounds like fun. Video games, you pass me a note, sleeping intense, it's nice to have. have a friend.
It's nice to have a friend.
Yeah, so that one was fine. It kind of bringing back, I feel in this album, and also with reading the prologue to this, and it even rang true with a lot of the songs where, I think we got a little bit nostalgic at times. So it's calling back to that, and I'm glad it did after that last song. I think... I've remained pretty positive, but Me was actually kind of the first song that I've gone like, I don't know if I can get positive about this one. This one's fine. It's just weird kind of hearing steel drums in the Taylor Swift song, like with the horns. Tell me if I'm wrong, please. But maybe that was just, Jack Antonoff asserting his dominance or something. The call of Jack. So, yeah, this one was fine, Now, if you're new here, I tend to do a little recap of the album before the last song. For me, it's just kind of a way to hype up the last song a little bit, before we get into the grand finale. So I'll recap the album here a little bit. Because very seldom also does the last song just change my opinion. So... Lover, coming after Reputation, I think was a great return to form. Not to say that, we need Taylor Swift to stay in this box and we don't need her to explore, because it was so interesting to hear all the sounds that they tried on Reputation. And that's even being honest with you, I think more or less, to a lot of people, I could see why they think that, Taylor maybe fell on her face in that regard, where it was just like, hey, this was not the angle to go. Whether or not she saw those criticisms, like, okay, let's go back, I don't know. But there were things carried over from Reputation, some of the production choices, some of the slower R&B type things, right? I was really impressed with Cornelia Street and, The Archer, and especially with Cornelia Street kind of hearkening back to All Too Well. I thought the slower songs on this song the slower songs on this album grabbed me a little bit more than they have in the past. I don't know if that's just because I'm better at listening to Taylor Swift now than I have in the past. I don't know. Now, because again, it's not so much this series is about me saying, okay, that album's bad or this album's better than this one. But I think objectively, you might look at this and say, okay, this is maybe a better, more cohesive album than Reputation was. In a way, I think it's the perfect mix of the last three albums outside of Me. I didn't really enjoy that one a ton. Yeah, I think Paper Rings may have been my favorite on this. It just poppy and jumpy and, kind of fun here. And the subtlety and in Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, I think should go down as one of her best written songs. So honestly, I don't know if it's better than Red or 1989 still. It's a little bit of a mixed bag if I'm comparing, but, and a lot of the songs that kind of even harken back to like Speak Now and shit. This, if anything, this is like the Eras tour wrapped up into an album if it was in 2019, at least to me. So, all right, folks, let's get into some Daylight. the last track off Lover.
My love was as cruel as the cities I lived in. Everyone looked, came the butt of the joke. I wounded the good and I trusted the wicked. You, I can never look away. I don't wanna think of anything else now that I thought of you. Things will never be the same. Been sleeping tight, and I can still see it all. All of you, all of me, and I can still see it all. Back and forth from New York. I once believed love would be it's going.
We're closing out on a more of a 1989 sound here. I don't know if I can extrapolate too much more, maybe other than saying that I know that there's a lot of criticisms between, what song she puts where on the album, but the last two songs, especially since the, what was it called? It's Nice to Have a Friend was so brief. I think it's a nice way to kind of settle us back down, to kind of end the album. But this one isn't like your typical, like, oh, it's just slow. It's just going to fade us out of the album. It's that kind of driving pop beat that she seems to employ quite a bit.
Only see daylight, 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 daylight. Only see daylight, daylight. Like daylight. Let it go.
This does sound very nice.
I want to be defined by the things that I love, not the things I hate, not the things I'm afraid of, not the things that haunt me in the middle of the night. I just think that you are what you love.
Okay. So the outro to that song was quite good, and if it serves as the outro to the album, it works pretty well there. And, she mentions all this in the prologue. No, that's not. That's fucking Getaway Car.
My love was
she mentions this in the prologue, I want to be defined by the things I love, not by the things that I hate, so to speak, right? And I think it's that, spoken word on the phone kind of thing that can make it a little bit more personal. And, having a fan base, we could talk this, that, and the other about parasocial relationships every day, but she has done a very good job at, kind of cultivating this experience of, almost having personal relationships with her fans, so to speak. At least that's how they kind of take it. So kind of like just hearing that, like she's talking to you on the phone there, I can get that. But on the whole, she takes us back to Speak Now. She takes us back to Red. She takes us back to 1989. Keeps us kind of in that Reputation sphere a little bit. Gives us those hard pop songs. Gives us wedding songs, a couple of them, even. And I think even a little bit more than that on a deeper level, there's this sense of self-awareness that I don't think we got as much of in other albums, maybe between The Archer and between, no, was it Afterglow? It was Afterglow. Okay. So yeah, and Afterglow and stuff like that. So I think, that's not really the point of the series, but better than Reputation, yes. I think also because, like at the beginning of this stream, I was like, wait, when we got to Lover, I'm like, are we going back to acoustic guitars here? Man, if in any of the albums coming up, there's a palm muted chorus, I'm going to go fucking crazy. Well, I think you could say that I was a Speak Now boy and that I was a Reputation boy and all that. Because I think back to, if anybody has ever heard of Roger Ebert, he's like the greatest film critic of all time. He gave, if you were basing it on a scale from 0 to 100, he did the 4-star ratings. If you extrapolate that down, he gave most movies 70%. Because most movies are just fine. They're just fine. And if you go into it with that lens, I think it's a lot easier for you to kind of open yourself up and find things you really fucking gel with. Or things that you didn't know before. I wouldn't have listened to Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. I wouldn't have listened to Paper Rings. Actually, this string of 3 songs was fucking awesome. I will say, between Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, Paper Rings, and Cornelia Street, I enjoyed those quite a bit. All right, so do we listen to the entire album that beat it out for number 1?
Diggity, diggity dog. Breaking, diggity, diggity dog.